Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Spencer TCG here. Today we have some Chewbacca gameplay. I just posted my Chewbacca deck video a couple days ago. Sorry that this is a day or two late for those of you waiting, but it is here now today, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So let's get this rolling. Alright, so I am playing Chewbacca Yellow, and I am against Ray Red, which is a new and, coming deck. I actually really like Ray Red. I was impressed by what it could do in this match, but I was also very impressed by what my Chewbacca deck could do. I made this deck because I really wanted to have like some Wookiee theme synergy, fun stuff going on in my locals, and it actually performed really well. I played a few games after the tournament, and it was crazy. I was not losing. The deck felt very, very good. And yeah, let's talk about some opening strategy. We're looking for a 2-drop and a 3-drop. Everything else, we'll probably draw into. This deck has a ton of 3-drops. It's okay to play a 3-drop on, 4 resources. It's not the best, but, it's not terrible because at least we know it can have Sentinel. We're playing against a red deck, so, he could be doing fast things. So he plays an A-Wing on turn 1. That's a fast thing. We play L337, which is, a decent card, but not really good against A-Wing, obviously. But this deck has 2 really good spaceships to answer A-Wings, 2 3-drops. I saw some comments that this deck wasn't playing many space units, and I don't think it really needs it. I mean, this Star Wars is all about really controlling the ground. We play kill spells to kill really big things in space, and then, we have those 6 space units that just completely control space at the early stages. He swings at me for 3 with A-Wing. A-Wing is actually super, super strong with Rey. It actually makes my Concord Dawn Interceptors not as good, right? Because he can move the A-Wing up to a 2/4 and actually just one-shot my Interceptors, which you could see him do. I just go ahead and take the initiative. I'm not really worried about damage. Also, if my L337, like if I don't take initiative there, he does, Sabine one-shots it because it's, a shielded set, unit. So there is like that to consider. But yeah, so I did not want my unit to get one shot by the Sabine, because Sabine would attack, ping the shield, and then just run it through. Trying to see what's in my hand right here, but yeah, the 5-cost Chewbacca is going to be pretty good against Rey. I'm assuming most of his things are like smallish in some way, so he can use Rey's ability. I am glad that he put the +1/+1 counter on Sabine Wren instead of his A-Wing. Lets me just, survive more and longer in space. So we use Chewbacca's effect to get out a shielded unit. I'm glad that I realized, I'm like, oh wait, this is a unique unit. This is a local, so obviously he let me change that. So, but be careful. I play a lot of card games and was like, oh yeah, unique units is a thing in this game. It's not in most of the games I play. But anyway, that was just a slight error in judgment, and we actually resourced very wrong because of that. So we definitely got punished no matter what. I was planning on playing 2 cards this turn. It's not the biggest deal, but it did definitely hurt my early game. So we're going to play Fugitive Wookiee instead. And we have a 3/3 Sentinel now. I really like Fugitive Wookiee in this deck. He's just a strong body. Yes, he can make me tap something, so he could right now, swing out with Sabine and tap my L337 so that I can't kill Sabine off. That's like really good board control on his part, but we're going to have to be okay with it. It's not the end of the world, right? As long as I'm not taking high amounts of damage, we can definitely win this in the late game, I think. Ooh, he plays Jedi Lightsaber on his Sabine Wren. Now that's pretty big now. We got a 6/7 on his side. It is a force unit, so it does do stuff. I think here I'm going to trade in with my shielded unit. So I think I'm like trying to do the math. It has 7 health, so 2, 3, 4. It actually, the maths, and this is actually pretty good. I'm unsure if he mathed before he played Jedi Lightsaber. So if my Fugitive Wookiee dies, my unit gets tapped. Sabine leaks 1 damage through, which is fine. I take the initiative, and right now he should probably just be using Rey and A-Wing, and he gets to one-shot my Concord Dawn Interceptors, which again really sucks because it just dies. I don't think he thought my unit died at first, which is why we're having the conversation. I'm like saying, no, my unit's dead. It's getting +2, then I get +1 from Ray, so it's dealing 4 damage, and his unit takes 3 back. So that's going to be a very annoying A-wing that just gets to punch me in the face. But even still, like, unless he's playing a bunch more space units, we're totally fine. We do get to, you know, first action kill his Sabine next turn, which is really nice. You know, the only way he could have avoided that would be not use Ray and not attack with A-Wing. Just take initiative. But, yeah, that didn't happen. Actually, did I have initiative before that? I think I did. All right, so we're going up. We're at 5 resources now, so we do have that Chewie play in our hand. We get rid of the Sabine. 2 + 3 + 2 is 7, so it is gone. Again, I've never played too many. I never played too many. That sounds weird. I haven't played too many games against the Ray Red, so I wasn't really sure what he could do on 5. I was like thinking that he could Poe, which is a little bit annoying. Because that's just a really big card. And yeah, he does play Poe, and I'm like, oh, the card's really good against Chewbacca, you know. So, you know, but we got rid of his A-Wing, which is nice. He Tarkin Towns to finish my Falcon, if you're wondering how it died. You know, it only took 2 damage from the A-Wing because it attacked it, and then took 3 more from that. But, you know, we get to play our L337 that we still have. I really do like this card. I mean, it can be a Sentinel shielded unit, but also, like, if your opponent is playing some sort of capture deck, right, you can take that stuff back, which is really nice. Yeah, so Poe's a really strong card. It can definitely deal with my shielded unit, right? Poe defeats upgrades, does damage. Very, very strong card. It's also a 6/6. Looks like I have a takedown in hand. So I could swing. I mean, I don't have the initiative, but if I did, I could swing and then take down after. That's a pretty, like, low play, though, because what do I do with the other 2 resources? I'm trying to think what he can do with his Poe. I mean, Poe, I guess, could just go face and kill my unit. If he really wants to discard 2 cards, which, you know, could be his prerogative, I guess. He does have a big hand somehow, so... Yeah, him still having 4 cards is a lot. Unsure how he managed that, but that's okay. So he plays the Poe. It just attacks to the face, so we're only at 16 left. Not a lot of life, right? We're about halfway dead. And he kills my unit by discarding 2 cards with Poe's effect. I played Gentle Giant, which is not my favorite card, but obviously this is a Wookiee deck. It fits the theme, and sometimes it can do stuff. He responds with a Kylo Ren, which is, you know, kind of a disgusting card in this deck. And he gets to summon his leader. So it is looking really, really bad for us right now, guys. How are we ever going to manage to get out of this? He attacks with Rey and gets a +1 counter up on himself. Because Rey can not only... Rey is able to target, you know, your other units, but Rey can also target herself, if you guys didn't know that. So she gets a little bit bigger and has Restore 3. It doesn't really matter since he hasn't taken any damage. So right now, you know, he has at 12. He has 15 damage looking down at me. And, you know, he gets to do a Poe effect and Kylo effect if he wants to. So, you know, he has like 19 damage looking down at me. That is a lot. But we're going to play Tarful, letting him read this card. And I have a Hyperspace Foil, which is super pretty. You know, if you guys live nearby me, try to trade me your Hyperspace Foil Wookiees. Let's make this deck shiny. But all right, so Tarful is really nice because it doesn't die to anything on his board currently. And if they were to attack Tarful, it would kill something else on his board, which is just disgusting. Another great thing about it is that it has the Restore 2. So, you know, if I do get to manage to turn this around in the game, I can start healing back. He ends up going Kylo to face. I think he thinks that he can just kill me this turn. Kylo's targeting himself to get the most damage. We bring out our leader. So now we have this Sentinel unit with Grit, and we have the Tarful behind it. This actually puts him in a really bad situation. I mean, I know we're at 5 life left, right? We've taken 25 damage this game, but we are going to pull through, guys. We're going to pull through because we just summoned our leader, and it's the best leader in the game, right? It's a Wookiee. So we have Chewbacca out. It has Sentinel, so our opponent has to attack it, and Tarful is going to damage any ground unit that he plays. You know, so this would be where he gets to play a big space unit and maybe can close the game, but he doesn't have that. So he plays Force Throw, which is just so annoying. I probably have to get rid of Takedown here, but that's a hard choice. So I have Takedown and Chewbacca. You know, the good thing about Chewbacca is that at least it's a Sentinel, but also, like, it's really small and dies to everything, but it's, like, kind of a lifeline. Takedown, though, maybe I can get a kill on it next turn. So this is actually a pretty tough choice. I think either way, I'm sending the damage into my Gentle Giant because he will now be able to heal my Chewbacca. So we do get rid of that takedown just in case to keep the Sentinel in our hand. And we're going to put 4 damage, I think, on our Gentle Giant. I mean, that's what I would do right now. I don't remember exactly what I did. This game was like last week. Oh, so I do put it on my Tarful. I'm not sure that's right. Yeah, I'm really not sure that's like the right decision. I think putting it on Gentle Giant makes sense. Unless, oh, no, my bad, guys, because I want to swing with Gentle Giant. I did forget that I have the swing. So yes, putting it on Tarful does make sense, but it just a little sucks. So the reason I want to put it on the Tarful, you're gathering my thoughts, I was smarter in the past, is so that my Gentle Giant can attack into one of his things and survive. And if I get to attack into like the Poe or something, I can deal 6 damage anywhere. So I'm able to attack into his Poe, taking 6, dealing 2 back, and then I deal 6 to his Poe. I don't have to choose Poe, but I do. But sadly now he has the takedown for my Tarful. So again, I question if putting the damage on the Tarful was right instead of the Giant. Because if I put it on the Giant, I keep my Tarful super safe. So there is that to consider. I guess another thing maybe I was thinking about, like if he doesn't have that kill spell here, is that on my next turn, I actually get to do some healing with my Gentle Giant and make my Tarful go out of range. That's a lot. There's a lot. I guess there's a lot to think about, a lot of little things. And I'm not exactly sure what decision's still right. So I have to think about that more, I suppose. But yeah, he can't really attack my Chewbacca right now because his unit would just die. So I don't have Tarful anymore. Yeah, but so the problem with attacking my Chewbacca is that Chewbacca takes 3, it goes to 6 health left, but gets bigger, right, with grit. So that's pretty annoying for him. Also, if he does put damage on Chewbacca, so he can try to one-shot it in the following turn, Gentle Giant reads that I can heal the damage off Chewbacca. So he's kind of in a weird spot, and I'm also in a weird spot, right? Do I want to be healing damage from my Chewbacca because then it lowers attack? Well, I am at 5 life left, guys, so I do want to be surviving. But my deck actually shines at this stage of the game. We have a lot of strong 7 and 8 drops. The deck's playing Luke, it's playing Tarful. We play 8 cost Chewbacca, which is actually solid, right? It would just one-shot something here. So he definitely Gentle Giant kills something, right? It has 8 attack. So this is where it definitely shines. It can feel really bad on curve, but I definitely make the most out of my Gentle Giant. So I kill his Kylo Ren and heal my Chewbacca. Man, he is pretty sad. So he plays another Force Throw, which is such an annoying card. We do have the Luke in hand, so we're definitely getting rid of our Chewbacca this time. And we're putting 5 damage on our leader, but we get Luke and we get to kill his Rey. So as you guys can see, we have totally turned the board state around, and it's really all thanks to Tarful getting us that free trade. And, he had to use a card to kill our Tarful, but our Tarful killed something before it died, technically, with its effect. So we 2-for-1 there. And then my Gentle Giant, being an 8 cost, got to one-shot something and make our leader survive more, right? So, yeah. Feeling pretty good. Our Chewbacca has 7 damage on it, so it is pretty big. I have the Luke. The Luke is really going to help me stabilize this game because it has Restore 3. So even though I'm low and he just played a space unit, we're going to start healing up. This is another reason why I think our deck doesn't need as many space units, right? Because I have these little heals, so if he does play these little spaceships in the late game, we're healing out of it. And if he plays the big ones, hopefully we have Fell the Dragon in our hand. And we do side a 3rd one. So he plays Queel. Even though I'm at 8, I'm actually still really concerned. And I don't want him drawing cards. I definitely don't want him drawing cards. He has none in hand. So I might send Chewbacca into Queel, even though it feels pretty bad. An alternative here is I just take initiative. But that would also feel bad because I haven't played a card this turn, right? So I might end up sending Chewbacca into Queel. Again, feels bad, but I definitely don't want him drawing cards. But I could also just smack him in the face for a lot of damage. I also realized that, hey, I'm hitting him right now for, a big number, and I'm able to play a couple cards, so Yeah, I don't know. I'm like thinking on it, and I'm like, I could attack Queel here. Like, I guess I lose what 9 damage to the face, and that can feel bad. But I still have total dominance, and I don't want him like finding cards to win the game. I guess I decide that because he's playing a 25 life base, and I can put him to 10 here. His first action always needs to be attack Chewie, right? So he doesn't just die. Hopefully he doesn't draw a card, but we can see if he does. Poe matches his base. He gets to draw it. Then we have the Luke and Tech and Concord interceptors to attack. He's at 11 health left, and we're only doing 9 this turn. We don't need to kill him this turn, though. I think my first action should always be swing with Luke, because then if he just plays a big thing, I take initiative and kill him with Luke. So I put him to 5 left. I have 11 left. We are feeling pretty good now. It is crazy how our leader was able to turn around this game in combination with Tarful. That card is so good. He has Luke. Luke is terrible at killing Luke. You know. He does kill my tech since his Queel left the field this turn. But again, he's at 5 left. I just take initiative. What is he going to do with 1 resource? Absolutely nothing. And we're like, yeah, kill you with Luke next turn. Okay, so that was the end of that game. And now when we're going into the next game, we could talk about some things. So I actually wanted to in preparation for this video, but so Let the Wookiee Win is a really cool Wookiee card. But you can see probably in that game, there aren't a lot of situations where that card would have come up, especially in a format with like discard. So at most points in that game, I was like sitting on 1 to 2 cards. And if he plays anything that makes me discard, I would always have to discard Let the Wookiee Win because I have... Like, it doesn't do anything when you don't have another card in hand. Your opponent just says, okay, untap your resources. Who cares, right? Another problem with Let the Wookiee Win is that you need a lot of resources to make the card work. Let's just say, you have 7 resources. You play, I don't know, a 3-drop, and then you play Let the Wookiee Win to try to get back all your resources, and then you play a 7-drop. Well, then you're playing 3 cards. I feel like my hand sizes aren't really that big in this deck. Like, I'm kind of like pushing cards out. A lot of the times I do play 2 cards in a 1 turn in the mid game. And like, how important is playing another 3-drop in conjunction with my 7-drop? I want to say not that important. Like, I might even just want to keep that 3-drop in my hand to resource later in the game, and I much rather have like Let the Wookiee Win be a relevant card. Now, if I could choose Let the Wookiee Win, I would feel really, really good about that because obviously I would choose the untap 99.9% of the time, and I think I would just get there by untapping my Wookiee and making it better, right? But it's really difficult when your opponent gets to make the decision and you need to have like a perfect hand setup and you have to be in the late game. And like, imagine that scenario where like I wanted to play a little thing, play Let the Wookiee Win, then play a big thing, and my opponent says, okay, untap that little Wookiee you just played. Like, even if I'm untapping my leader, if he hadn't attacked it yet, like, what's another 2 damage with my Chewbacca, right? It's just like, it's really hard because if he says like untap your bad Wookiee, well, now I can't play my 7-drop, so I probably lose. And if you saw that game, like, I did not have time to take all of the actions possible to play a 3-drop, play Let the Wookiee Win, then play a 7-drop, right? He also would have untapped my thing. So like, my opponent choosing with that card is just way too annoying for me. My opponent starts with initiative this game, which is, I think this deck is actually a deck that cares about dice roll, definitely wants to go first, because then I think you can always put a Sentinel unit out before your opponent attacks and stay healthy. So, but anyway, guys, Let the Wookiee Win is a super cool card, like really thematic, like the art, like the name. I mean, this deck is called Let the Chewie Win, so, we use the card on our, like, the deck video just because I really like the card. But again, I couldn't play it. I did want to talk about it in my deck list video a lot, but I oopsidentally forgot to do that. So we talk about it a little bit here. And yeah, it just in practicality, the card is really hard to make use of. I did test it. It was in the original list. But yeah, we're not playing that card. All right, off on the rant. We play R2-D2, which is actually, I really like this card in the deck, because it has a 1/4, it has a big butt, so you can actually like throw it in front of things, and it feels pretty good. we go ahead and play Spark of the Rebellion. So yeah, so I like R2D2. It filters. It helps us look for better things. We can play it in conjunction with a 3-drop, and we can put it on Sentinel. We can save lots of life against those aggro decks. And again, sometimes 1 damage is all you need to pick off something. So this deck, one of the good reasons I think why this deck is like pretty meta is because it can play Spark of the Rebellion, which is just a solid card at all parts in the game, taking your opponent's best piece. I actually did not want to deal with Wrecker. 7 attack I thought was just a little bit too much. I didn't want him killing a unit with his effect, even though he would lose a resource. So we opted for the Wrecker. Force Throw is an annoying card, especially since I did play R2D2 this game. So, whenever you do play R2D2 in the mid game, you're probably playing 2 cards from your hand, so you definitely don't want your opponent to be discarding you. But I opted for the Wrecker. That's like a tough choice. I am not exactly sure what's right. But I do know he has a Force Throw in hand, so hopefully I keep a small thing there. This was me. I actually forgot if bounties were optional or not optional. Because Fugitive Wookiee says, like, capture it to tap something. And I was like, oh, the only unit on the field is yours. But I haven't looked it up yet, but he was saying that it's always optional. Bounties are always optional. So there you go, guys. It's a rule that my opponent said, and I believed him. We'll have to read up on it later, so he does not need to tap his card. That would make this card way too strong, right? If my opponent had to tap something, yeah, that'd be way too good. All right, so we take 2 damage from the Queel. He hits a takedown, so he doesn't get to draw a card, which is really good for us. We don't want him drawing cards, especially since we sparked him this game. We play our Millennium Falcon. He does have an A-Wing, so I suppose we prevented him from playing that A-Wing. I just take initiative. Again, this deck isn't about getting that early damage in. So here's the Force Throw, which we knew was coming. And I discard Spark of the Rebellion. I knew his hand and did not want to discard anything. And the damage on our Millennium Falcon doesn't really matter too much because we can always return to our hand if we wish. He knows that, so we Tarkin Sound our Millennium Falcon. Sadness. Right when I say it doesn't matter, you had to call me a liar. So yes, as you guys can see, we're behind on board. I think this deck excels the Ray deck at getting ahead at the early game board, and that's why it plays cards like Poe and Wrecker, things that are just huge and can finish off the game when you're already slightly ahead. I play Tech, which is just a big card. Now he would have to use Ray ability if he wants to kill my Tech. Or he can play his Poe. Again, last game I saw him play Poe. If I can delay his Poe by 1 turn, I'm definitely okay losing my unit. Yeah, so he definitely wants to play his Poe. It's just a huge tempo swing. He doesn't want to waste his turn attacking my Tech and using Ray ability. So he goes both of his things to the face, and it looks like I have 24 life left. I've only taken 6 this game, so we're feeling a little bit healthier than last game. Though I think at the same time last game, he was able to hit me with Poe in the face, and deal an extra 2 damage, and then he was able to play Kylo and hit me for 8. So we can lose our life pretty fast when he plays these big things. And of course, if you see my opponent's hand, he did redraw the Wrecker. That is just sadness for us. I use Tech right away just to get a value trade. Again, don't want him drawing cards, so that's our first action. He flips Ray first instead of attacking with Poe, so I guess he's trying to see what I do. I think that's right, because if you attack with Poe and I play a card like Chewbacca, I totally turn off the rest of his turn. So keeping Poe up in anticipation for, a big Sentinel unit is a good idea. And again, it looks like bad for us. I think I go ahead and pass there to make him attack with something. I don't think he would just pass the whole turn and take initiative. That is an idea, but he hasn't played any cards from his hand either, so I don't think it's advantageous for him to take the initiative if I just pass. So I want him to attack with something and see what he does. We take down his Ray, so we get to do something, which is nice. But now it looks like we're taking 8 to 10 damage from his Poe and Yoda, which suck. I really do like this Ray deck, though. If you guys see, it has a lot of cards that have incidental draw on them, a lot of cards that have incidental heal. When I mean incidental, I mean they do other stuff, right? Like Yoda heals and draws, but these cards do other things. Like Queel draws you cards and heals. There's just and he's like a 2/3, right? Like they fulfill a lot of purposes, and that's why I really like this Ray deck. And after seeing it, I do want to make a version like it. It looks super fun. Feels like it has a lot of versatility with making your opponent discard, with drawing cards, with healing. Seems very annoying to deal with. So just like last game, we have the Tarful, and it's Hyperfoil, so you know it's a good card. Yeah, still very, very strong in the situation. And he's like, last game I went face and it didn't work. So this game, I need to attack that Tarful. And I'm like, well, you know, you could do that, but it's still going to feel bad, right? So if he wreckers into our face, we get to summon Chewbacca. And then he's like in that same situation where like, how do I attack the Chewbacca? There might have been a combat line. Maybe we can think about it, guys. So I think Wrecker has to go into face here. Or he can save Yoda and Wrecker to attack my Chewbacca. And I think that's probably the play. And I don't know if he sees it. So what we could talk about for him and try to make the best combat math for him is he could probably Poe to the face. I would go to 10, and then I summon Chewbacca, and then Yoda attacks Chewbacca, putting Chewbacca to 7 health left, putting in range of the Wrecker, which is why I want to get rid of the Wrecker. My Chewbacca gets to do 2 damage back to something, so I could choose to do 2 to the Yoda if I wanted to kill it. And then, or I could do 2 to the Wrecker, and my Chewbacca that would then have to attack the Wrecker and kill it off. But the problem there is that his Wrecker kills my Chewbacca. So while I still have a healthy Tarful, I did just lose my Sentinel, and you attacked me with Poe, putting me down to 10, maybe 8 if you use Poe's effect. And if you guys actually start like playing through that series, if I'm the one who has attacked Chewbacca to his Wrecker, then his Poe will be able to kill me on the following turn. Because if you guys see, I'm at 16 left, Poe swings twice, that's 8. That is like a lot to think about, and I can see how my opponent didn't, but I think there was a window for me to lose there, or make the game just really extended. I think what would have had to happen is I just couldn't attack with the Chewbacca. I'd make his Wrecker swing into my Chewbacca, and then I'd have the initiative, and it'd be a longer game. Tarful could then kill Poe. The game would go back and forth, guys, but maybe we don't care about all this who have, she have thing. So let's just talk about this turn. He decided this time to go ahead and just kill the Tarful. He had Make an Opening, so he was able to swing 7 into it and do the last 2 with Make an Opening, which is good. But, I was able to kill his Poe because he attacked into my Tarful. And now, again, I have this annoying... maybe he could have attacked Yoda into Chewbacca here. There's a lot of things he could think about doing. I guess then I'd get a free attack on Wrecker, but then he gets to kill my leader. We go ahead and play 8-cost Chewbacca. We didn't get to see this card last game, and we are just killing off his Wrecker. We are feeling pretty good now. We have a 4-10 grit and a 2-9 with Sentinel, and I'm still at 16 life left. In the last game, he was like regretting going face with that Kylo Ren. And I think actually going face with the Kylo Ren was totally fine in the last game, but I think he should have given an experience token to another one of his units. I think that was like the big thing. I think he was just trying to do as much damage as possible to kill me, which I get, but yeah. I swing Chewbacca into his Sentinel unit because it's just super annoying and I need to get through his board in some way. He goes Yoda into my Chewbacca. He draws a card. I think he's just trying to finish it off. Ooh, he can't fell the dragon, my leader. He's like, oops. And again, local, so totally fine. Don't play fell the dragon. Yeah, take your resources back. He does have another Yoda in hand. I'm not sure what he just drew from his last card. I don't know what we're talking about right now. But yeah, so he uses Ray Effect to bump up his Sabine, making it a 3-4. And then with the last 3 resources, he's definitely just playing out the Yoda. Yeah. So again, he has this A-Wing that's going to be doing, 3 damage to us every turn, which is fine because we are pretty solid on the ground. Our Chewbacca has 5 health left. So there's nothing that can kill it right now, right? Sabine only doing 4. I'm still resourcing. So this deck can actually resource pretty much the whole game because it plays tech. You don't have to feel bad about doing it. Ooh, baby, we play another Tarful. We aren't really concerned about him like killing my Chewbacca somehow with like a takedown. and then, me not having Sentinel units and running through, because I'm just a little bit too much life. And now my opponent's like, oh my god, I hate Tarful so much. What am I going to do against this beast of a Wookiee? Now if he attacks into my Chewbacca, I'm just dealing stuff back to him, i.e. killing his Sentinel unit and then, hitting him in the face for 10 million or just value trading. He has 2 cards in hand and I have 1, so we're about even, I'd say. Again, my deck has a lot of smuggle tools, especially in the late game with tech and stuff. So we're going down to 10 with an A-Wing, which again, like I said, we're going to be taking this 3 damage every turn, which is why it's nice to have this incidental restore on our big units to help combat that damage. I think this is the second time that A-Wing's attacked, so if Rey bumped it instead of his Sabine, I'd be at 8 left, and that's just 2 A-Wing swings away. So I would also, really consider what's the most value thing, or, how am I killing my opponent this game? And I think Rey should have buffed his A-Wing at one point, especially since if he did it last turn and did it this turn, again, right? A-Wing is one of the best targets for Rey. It's becoming a monster. It's swinging for 5 if he double buffs it. So that's a lot more than 3 and harder to heal out of that. So now we're both thinking it's pretty hard to decide what unit to attack. The reason I don't want to attack with my Chewbacca is because I know he has Fel the Dragon, because he showed it to me by accident. So I could have swung with Chewbacca first, my 8-cost Chewbacca, and then he fells it, and that feels really bad. So I'm actually trying to avoid that scenario. We do put my Chewbacca in death range to his Sabine, but that's fine. Because we get rid of his Sabine. And now I have the option of swinging Chewbacca into Yoda, letting him draw a card and felling it. That feels really bad to me, currently, so I think I just go face. Yes, I'm taking 2 damage. Yes, I'm getting closer to death. But I think in his mind, I right here would want to Yoda into the 8 cost and then fell it. I don't know if you can afford to do the 2 to face, but he does. He does 2 to base. And again, I'm okay with it, but I would definitely get rid of my 8-cost Chewbacca right now. Especially since I have a Tarful, especially since I can be dealing lots of damage to stuff. Okay, here's his big spaceship. He plays a Redemption. He keeps it at full HP, which I think is smart. He doesn't really need to heal. I mean, yes, he could get a couple points of healing places, but I don't think he needs to do that. I think he just wants a big spaceship, and this is, again, why I play Fel the Dragon. Now, of course, if I didn't have Fel the Dragon, this would have been a lot scarier. But imagine now if his A-Wing, had at least 1 experience token on it. It looks like he used all of his resources last turn to play Redemption, so he wouldn't have been able to double XP it like we were talking about. Luckily, we do have Fel the Dragon. We do play multiple copies. We have 3 total in the deck right now. I saw this guy plays a lot of big units, so of course we're playing multiple copies. Yoda gets in there. I go down to 6. I Tarful his face and heal 2, go back to 8. And again, harder to win a race when your A-Wing's so small. So maybe he finally buffs it up now. He still has Fel the Dragon. Again, I would have definitely attacked Yoda into Chewbacca. I guess why I didn't do it last turn is because he played Redemption and was hoping that card would just win the game. But now that it didn't, I probably would try to kill my big Chewbacca because I think things are going to get out of hand for him. He buffs his A-Wing, which I've been telling him to do, and I've tricked him. I play the Waylay, the new Waylay, spare the target and return it to his hand, which is definitely worth it, guys, because I just healed 3 damage this turn and at least 1 more next turn because it doesn't have that experience token on him. So it's an effective heal 4 and make him use his resources, right? We have 3 resources left. This game still looks losable, but again, he hasn't been dealing with my cards exactly, so yeah. He plays Make an Opening literally just to heal 2, which I guess is fine. But again, I definitely would have dealt with my Chewbacca, man. It has grit. I would have swung into it, and I would have felled it. I mean, maybe he's saving it for when I Luke or something, but then I'd still have this huge Chewbacca, so I'm not entirely sure why he's not trading. And Yoda filters, right? It's not like you're losing. You're not getting 2 for 1 doing that. Your Yoda draws a card. So you're breaking even and you're killing my guy. Yoda's doing less damage than my Chewbacca effectively. And if he ever swings into my Chewbacca, and there you go. Now he has no board, right? Tarful broken, kills his unit, does 2 more damage to the Yoda to pick it off. So, but yeah, but now if he ever attacks into Chewbacca later, my Tarful's activating and dealing damage back. So I think it's just not good to keep 8-cost Chewbacca alive. The life is getting pretty full. We have 7 life left. This game is going pretty long. I think that I have solidified the game pretty much, especially when the deck is at this many resources. When you play tech, you have infinity options. But I'm still considering how I could lose the game. And there's a few ways. So, I'm at 7 right now. I know Wrecker does 7, so I never want to put myself in a situation where he plays Wrecker, I can't kill it or something. So do I want to keep my Chewbacca untapped to completely control the ground? I think I do. We play Luke to get rid of his space unit. Like I said, this deck has a lot of ways to get rid of space units, a lot of kill spells, a lot of bounce spells, a lot of removal. He always has him play the Kylo. Kylo does swing for 8, so that is death. But don't matter. Now I took the initiative here. I do have Tarful, so I don't know why I took initiative. I think swinging with Chewbacca into Kylo and then just finishing off with Chewbacca effect is totally fine, especially since then I have a 10 damage Chewie. I think maybe I just was totally forgetting that I have a Tarful. I'm like, oh, Kylo just kills me, gotta take initiative. So I think that was a misplay on my part. No reason really for me to take initiative there, unless I really don't know. Yeah, I definitely should have always went to Chewie into Kylo. I don't think he had 10 resources to fell it that turn. Unless I'm trying to bait him into felling it this turn. I don't know what my brain was thinking. Make him use his 4 resources next turn so that he doesn't have as many. Yeah, unsure about that. So here again, we're in the situation where I'm a little low, but Luke heals me, so I'm I think it's always safe to swing with Luke. He goes to 14 left. I go to 10 left. Probably should just reset that. Yeah, 10-14. He plays the Village Protectors. Really, really like this card, guys. It's just so annoying with the shield and the Sentinel. But Tarful, of course, just picks it off. What a monster. And now we have heal 5 on our field. I don't think there's any way for him to come back from this. He goes ahead and take the initiative. But yeah, I still think not attacking with Chewie was wrong. So I should have just swung into Kylo and killed it. So unsure what I was thinking about there. And we are playing Le Tech. This card is just absolutely disgusting. I don't think it's fair that you can just play your entire game from your resource. Who invented that crap? And that's why it's okay to resource the whole time. I was unsure what happens first, the smuggle or the draw. I think the smuggle, because it's part of the whole effect, and then we draw off the Wookiee Warrior. We have not got to see this card yet, but this card's super great on curve. It's, I think, our only 4-drop that's a creature. The other 4 drops are spells, and Wookiee Warrior is definitely very, very, very powerful. Being a 2/5 means he doesn't really die to many things that cost, similar to him, and he has grit, so sometimes he can pick off an earlier game card and then make our opponent trade a big thing into it. He plays, I think, Fell the Dragon, went really fast, but it was a 4-costed spell. But now we're in just the stages of turning our things sideways. So yeah, this is another example of how this deck can actually deal with control in the later parts of the game. As you see, I have 4 cards in hand all of a sudden, even though I was at 1. Because tech just draws you infinite cards. And now he has to decide, hey, do I kill his infinite draw engine, or do I kill that Tarful that is literally the most annoying thing in the world? But then I don't think he lost a creature this turn. So even I thought Luke was killing something, but no, he did not lose a creature this turn, so Luke is not getting the -6/-6. And he's like, uh-oh. And I'm like, yes, uh-oh indeed. So I attack my Wookiee Warrior into his Luke, just to deal 2 damage on it, and then I play my Chewbacca from the Smuggle. We can do it with tech, so it actually costs 1 less, right? Sadly, he has red in Smuggle, which I guess is cool if you're a blue-red deck, but I am not. So yeah, we Chewie to finish off his Luke. We play a 2-drop, and now we have 4, 8, 11 damage on the field, and he is at 11, so we're hoping to finish up the game right now. But as you can see, this deck can be a little slow when it tries to end the game, but I don't think in these last 5-ish turns I was ever in trouble. So, Take that as it will. I'm a little bit safer as a player. I think maybe I could have done like a little bit more facey stuff. Yeah, here's me just counting to 11. Good job, Spencer. He plays Array, which I actually never saw him play this game, and then we just turned the rest of our field sideways. And as you guys can see, like we have 5 cards left in hand, and they're all really small dudes, so pretty good. And again, we can even think about this game. Does let the Wookiee win do anything? I'm unsure, right? Like he's at this point in the game giving me back all my resources, and what am I just playing a bunch of small dudes? Like, woo, I did it. Like I just don't think it's worth a card, sadly. There's a lot of cards that were not shown in this video, so I'll try to get more Chewie gameplay out in the future, mostly because the deck was like super duper fun to play, and it was so cool to have like a strong Wookiee themed video. I don't know, or a Wookiee themed deck, like it just felt really cool, and because it ended up being so strong, you know, we showed on the channel. I tried to show you guys like, you know, things I think are a little bit more competitive on this channel, so I would, you know, recommend trying this deck out. And maybe after watching this video, your second thoughts of, you know, it being a meme went away. Because as you can see, this deck is pretty powerful. I would say this Gray-Red deck, you know, is at least tier 1 or 2. It's a very powerful deck. It does a lot of powerful things. And I think it can compete in the meta right now. And, you know, I did not drop a game with the Chewie deck, so it did feel very powerful. And that was a lot of talking, guys, for about an hour, so thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and as always, guys, peace.